Hey, what's up everybody? Good morning, Frank Valkyria, welcome to the channel. I thought for a while whether or not I was supposed to do this video or not live. I hope we can do this, that we can play the news, that the video doesn't get blocked. I've seen that other YouTubers are doing this, so I suppose it's possible to watch along and react to what here, both the guest and the host have to say. This is, for those of you that are just tuning in, we have Bencho and Camille Vasquez, which were part of JD, Johnny Depp legal team. And of course, now after a week, they're going around doing apparently the first interviews, right? So I'm super curious to discuss this with you guys, and I want to say good morning to you all. Like I said, I'm going to go straight into the video so that we can let also the audience that come afterwards enjoy it right off the bat, more or less. So let's see what they have to say here, and then I'm also going to stop a little bit to to make sure that we reply and react.
Depp was defamed by ex-wife Amber Heard. Welcome to you both. Camille, let me begin with you. I think the verdict surprised a lot of legal experts. They thought it was a very uphill fight from the beginning for you all. What was the key to victory?
I think the key to victory was focusing on the facts and the evidence, and Johnny's opportunity to speak the truth for the first time. It was 6 years in the making, and I think he was able to connect with the jury and the general public and tell what really happened in this relationship.
He wasn't in the courtroom for the verdict. What was his reaction when you told him?
He was over the moon. It was like the weight of the world had been taken off his shoulders, and I feel that finally, after 6 years, he's gotten his life back.
Well, that's beautiful. First of all, like the first 50 seconds in, absolutely professional. I just want to, for a second, let me click out. I just want to raise the volume a little bit of this, so just to make sure that it's on blast for you. And I find this absolutely professional, to the point. They stick to the point. They're already not going, on other topics. And also Camille, basing everything on the facts. Let's continue.
He also went on TikTok yesterday thanking his supporters on social media. What role did social media play in this verdict?
My view is that social media played no role whatsoever. This was a decision made by the jury on the evidence presented by both sides, and as Camille said, it was overwhelmingly in Mr. Depp's favor.
Ms. Heard's lawyers put out a statement yesterday saying the verdict was a setback for women's rights, and they went on to say that it's unseemly and unprofessional for you all to be, quote, taking a victory lap for setting back decades of how women can be treated in the courtroom. How do you respond?
All right, I just want to interrupt right here. This is already a new statement that her camp released, and it's actually pretty insane if you think about it. I've said this before. It seems like, first of all, they were supposed to take some time off, but they're all over the place reacting to everything. Yesterday, they also reacted to JD posting his first story on TikTok, and they just couldn't stand it. They had to react right off the bat, immediately, with statements on statements. Wow. Let's say what Camille and Ben have to say about this.
Onto that.
I think it's disappointing. We're only speaking about what happened in this case, right? And the facts in this case were overwhelmingly positive for Johnny, and the verdict speaks for itself.
How about the broader criticism, though? It's not just from Heard's teams. Victims advocates have argued that the verdict is going to have a chilling effect on domestic violence victims, and it's a blow to the Me Too movement.
I think our response to that is we encourage any victim to come forward. Domestic violence doesn't have a gender.
So you don't see this as a setback to the movement in any way, shape, or form?
We do not. We believe that the verdict speaks for itself. The facts are what they were. The jury made a unanimous decision based on those facts.
Wait, during your cross-examination, what was your impression of Ms. Heard's impression on the jury?
Ms. Heard's impression on the jury. Okay, I want to interrupt right here also to remind ourselves that they came forward with a statement accusing now Ben and Camilla to have a victory lap after the verdict, when in fact, let's not forget that her lawyers, literally less than 24 hours after the verdict, was already on the same shows and also pointing fingers towards the jury and the trial that she claimed to be unfair, that the jury was affected by social media, that they have seen it, basically rendering their work of 6 weeks null, you know what I mean? And accusing them of not being professional. Can you imagine? I mean, let that sink in just one moment.
I think that her impression on the jury was what it was. I think something that I focused on and we focused on in that cross-examination was using her words against her. And it was very important for us to, every question that was asked was tied to something she had said previously. And I think the jury got to see and the world got to see and hear from Ms. Heard in that relationship on every single topic.
And George, I think there was a real contrast. Johnny took ownership of a lot of things, and it seemed at times, and perhaps it came through to the jury, that she had an answer for everything, and she wasn't taking accountability for anything. And I think that made a difference.
Heard's lawyers say she plans to appeal the verdict. She doesn't have the money to pay for the judgment, and you all have said that the goal is not to impoverish Ms. Heard. Is it possible where we could see a settlement where she forgoes the appeal in return for Mr. Depp waiving any monetary damages?
Well, George, we obviously can't disclose attorney-client communications, but as Mr. Depp testified, and as we both made clear in our respective closings, this was never about money for Mr. Depp. So this was about restoring his reputation, and he's done that.
So you're not disclosing any privileges, but it sounds like that's something that could be on the table, but it's up to Ms. Heard?
Again, we have to be careful what we say, but this was about Mr. Depp's reputation. That was what it was about for him.
All right, this is very interesting. Also because, you know, like they're bringing on the table the possibility perhaps that maybe Johnny Depp doesn't really want the money, you know, doesn't want to go after the money, even though he's not revealing anything, because like Ben said, wasn't about the money for JD, was about reestablishing his reputation, cleaning his name from false accusations, which I think is probably happy now. Like you also heard from Ben Cho that he's over the moon because of this, a weight that's been lifted from his shoulders. So I can imagine that JD seemed the kind of guy that will not go after her for the money. But if you ask me, I think that a person like that it's still relentless, you know, her camp and they're still relentless, trying to gaslight people, especially those which they have a gender bias, which they are willing to believe her despite evidence. You know, there are those people, unfortunately, on both camps. I'm saying this is sometimes human nature, some of the human nature, people that can be drawn in by tribalism and other whatever issues and motives, and blinded, you know, by the ideals and not the truth, following the truth. So you will always have those people, but you see that those people are like relentless in reacting to everything, gaslighting people. And I think the only way, you know, to inflict some lesson, impart some lesson, is to go into the pocket, so to speak, like taking some money away from this woman, because otherwise, you know, she gets away basically with everything. She's left with the money, and she's gonna try to recover her career immediately, you know, like they're doing. I think it would be so much better for these people just, you know, take a little bit of time and work on themselves. But then again, you know, this is the talk that a normal person that wants to heal does. And people which they don't see that they're creating any issue, they will probably never seek for help or try to get better, because in their eyes probably they believe their lies, they believe in what has happened to them or the stories that they're telling around, and they believe also that they're always right. So yeah, I mean, I can totally believe that JD is not interested in the money, but he should get some damages, honestly.
Life has changed a lot in the last several weeks. You got made partner this week. Congratulations.
Thank you very
Both
much.
of you have also become something of social media stars. How has it changed? What does it feel like?
It's been surreal, and if I'm being honest, a bit overwhelming. But if I can be an inspiration to young women that want to go to law school and study and work hard, then it was all worth it.
You made the choice to go to Virginia for this trial. How much of a difference did that make?
I think Virginia was a good venue for some legal and other reasons, and it has a fabulous court system, tremendous judges and fair juries, and I think this the evidence was listened to carefully on both sides by the jury, and again, it came overwhelmingly in Johnny's favor.
Ms. Hurd did win on one count of defamation. Will you be appealing that?
Again, I think it's premature to say, but if you look at the context of the verdict, it was a total win for Johnny.
Thank you both very much.
All right, I just want to say, like, first of all, thumbs up to Camille that she's been now passed as a she's part of the firm there, right? So that's very nice for her. Congratulations. It's really strange to see. Also, like, I was reading about this Stanford professor or something, which is going around discrediting her, which is pretty sad, honestly. I forgot the name of this woman, but I seen several articles already going around about this. But anyway, guys, I don't want to make this video too long. I want to come in and react to this interview. Hopefully stays on. I want to just add, was very interesting what Camille said about, you know, if I can be like an inspiration for women, for girls to go study law and study hard and achieve their dreams, I'm happy. And it's really sad to see like this Stanford professor and other people going after her as if she's catering to patriarchy, you know, like she's a victim of patriarchy and she's a victim of the male power and she's serving that, totally stripping away all the power, basically, that she's a badass lawyer, she's super powerful, incredibly inspirational, not only for women but also for men, you know. So this is always this strange narrative of those particular group which they lean too much on the extreme, which they all have all the answers, you know, and their bullying, their shaming, it's not bullying or shaming, it's serving the purpose of the higher cause, you know. Like those people, when they get against you, they basically can use whatever they want in their arsenal without thinking that there might be consequences, you know, to the way they behave. So it's very strange to see, and honestly also a little bit unsettling. So it's also interesting to hear Ben. Again, those guys incredibly professional, you know, they're stating the facts. Also Camille regarding the DV victims, you know, victims have to come forward, they have to be listened. Instead of believing on men or believing on women, we have to listen, and you take every single case, you know, on its own. This is the most important thing. And also they're focusing on this case, you know, they're not trying to point finger or name calling. You know, they're focusing, okay, the evidence was this, we were working on this guy, we were hard from this guy, and the evidence was overwhelming in his favor, and he won. A jury gave a verdict of 7 peers working for 6 weeks, you know, with all the evidence, and it came out on top. So that's it, you know, and they've been so incredibly gracious and professional. But you're gonna hear more. You're gonna hear more of this type of. Where are the statement? There was this statement right here, like this type of statement, literally accusing the lawyer, JD lawyer, when in fact her lawyer was going around fabricating facts like they won the UK trial, when in fact she was not even a part in the UK trial. Now we are learning so many things thanks to also new YouTubers, which they're coming forward explaining. I've said this before, there is the UK black belt barrister, which has done a series of interviews also on other channels apart from his channel, that explained a lot about why the UK trial was a little bit more difficult to win, because some evidence could not be presented and some other stuff, which technical stuff, which is very interesting to learn. So literally her lawyer was going around fabricating facts, you know. They didn't win the UK trial. They had nothing to do with it. She was just a testimony. But you see how they try to convince those which they are perhaps still plausible. You can change them a little bit in their idea because maybe they didn't follow the trial fully. They didn't hear all the audio that we have listened to, you know. But rest assured, we're gonna hear more of those statements. So, guys, I'm really curious about what you think about this. I just wanted to come on very quickly. Now I'm gonna stop this and I'll start a new live that we can discuss a little bit more stuff. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for showing up. Give me a second and I'll see you in another live, all right? Take care.